Native Americans, long journey to U.S. citizenship and voting rights. Native Americans achieved U.S. citizenship in 1924, but the fight for voting rights extended far beyond that. Indigenous tribes in America practiced self-governance long before the United States was established in 1776. Despite this, Native Americans faced centuries of struggle before they were recognized as U.S. citizens and granted voting rights. When the United States ratified its Constitution in 1788, Native Americans were excluded from citizenship and had to wait 136 years to gain this status. Even after the 14th Amendment granted citizenship to Black Americans in 1868, the government excluded Native people from this provision. I am not yet prepared to pass a sweeping act of naturalization by which all the Indian savages, wild or tame belonging to a tribal relation, are to become my fellow citizens and go to the polls and vote with me, stated Michigan Senator Jacob Howard, as documented by the Native American Voting Rights Coalition. Some indigenous people did not seek U.S. citizenship, as they already belonged to their own sovereign nations. Nevertheless, their land and lives were still subjected to the decisions of a country that did not recognize them as citizens. In 1920, Native Americans gained full citizenship when President Calvin Coolidge signed the Indian Citizenship Act, also known as the Snyder Act. Many viewed this act as an effort to break up Native nations and forcibly assimilate them into American society, with one tactic being the enrollment of young indigenous people in boarding schools. As Carlisle boarding school founder Richard Henry Pratt expressed in 1892, the goal was to kill the Indian in him and save the man. Despite the act, Congress did not guarantee voting rights for Native people. The Constitution allowed states to determine voting rights, except for the 15th and 19th Amendments, which were often ignored by states to disenfranchise Black voters. Many white Americans opposed Native people voting in their states. In the late 1930s, Henry Mitchell, an Indian canoe maker in Maine, reported that an official told a Native person, "We don't want you people over here. You have your own elections over on the island, and if you want to vote, go over there." Native Americans had to fight for voting rights, state by state. Disenfranchisement efforts, particularly against those living on reservations, continued into the early 1960s. In 1957, after a challenge by an indigenous voter, Utah repealed a law denying voting rights to Native Americans on reservations. In 1960, the Supreme Court of New Mexico struck down a challenge against Navajos voting in a 1960 election. Despite these victories, Native people still faced poll taxes, literacy tests, and intimidation tactics, also used against Black voters. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 strengthened the voting rights kind. Native people had one in every state. However, the 2013 Supreme Court decision in Shelby County v. Holder removed the Justice Department's authority to block changes to voting laws in states with histories of discrimination. By 2019, a federal commission reported that at least 23 states had enacted newly restrictive statewide voter laws. Thank you for watching and listening.